This week, voters got another look at the four candidates, each vying to be Burlington's next mayor. They answered questions posed by journalists from 7 days in front of a packed crowd at City Hall. Contrasts emerge on the key issues, certainly the lack of affordable housing in the city and public safety downtown. Housing, which has led to skyrocketing rents and a surge in homelessness. Now, 2 minutes with the major party candidates and the frontrunners on their strategy to fix housing.
I really believe that home ownership is a way to build wealth. Too many people in our community and beyond have been denied access to home ownership. And in our own community, 60 to 70% of Burlingtonians are living in rented housing, with much of that where rents can continue to escalate year after year. Being able to buy your own home stabilizes your family finances. And the housing we're building now is generally rental housing. We need to find ways to build condominiums so that people can own their apartments. We need to work on condo conversions where people are currently renting could buy the apartment that they're living in. That's something I'm working on now in the City Council. There is funding from the federal government as people exit offices. There's lots of office space, there's not enough housing, and there's federal money available to convert offices to housing.
We have to recognize that there's a lot at stake when we talk about understanding the affordability crisis. It's not only about building more housing, because we've been decades behind with creating more housing for folks to move into. It's also keeping housing here in Vermont, in Burlington in particular, actually affordable. So a few ways to think about that is for homeowners looking at how we do our tax system on a local level and making sure there's an income sensitized option for folks to be able to, who have fixed incomes or folks who are working families, be able to stay in their homes and keep up with property taxes, much like our state system. I also think we should expand the grand list, and that will happen as we continue to do the upzoning process to allow more dense housing development to happen in the city. And we have to make sure that's affordable. And I want to look at our inclusionary zoning ordinance, because we're at a risk of having that ordinance not be strong enough to make sure actual affordable units are built instead of just a fund or a contribution given to our housing trust fund.
The Democrat and progressive candidates at this week's forum, we should add there were two independents who jumped into the race late who were also on stage. Let's bring in NBC5 reporter Tyler Baronsky. Tyler, you were at City Hall on Wednesday night. Housing, they seem to agree, is central to fixing sort of the economic squeeze that so many in the city are facing. What about the impact, and this has been an issue forever, about college students competing with working people for available housing and driving up rent?
Sure. Well, candidates were posed the question on Wednesday, should UVM cap their enrollment as condition to upzone their land? Mulvaney Stanek and independent candidate Will Emmons gave a definitive yes, that they feel the city right now is not in a position to give students affordable rent and then convince them to stay long-term afterwards. The other independent candidate, Chris Hazley, said it's worth having a conversation. It feels UVM is not getting the support they need at the state level. Shannon follows a similar line of thinking. She said she needs a guarantee from the university that they won't build housing for freshmen and sophomores to have them just leave and go off-site when they become juniors and seniors. So she wants students to stay on campus during their time in school, and that off-site housing be designated for professors that can't find it on UVM's campus.
The other key issue in this race, the big elephant, is the public safety issue. Some people call it community safety issue downtown. Some key differences emerge there, including, folks who are openly injecting drugs downtown. What do we do about that?
Well, that's been a big talker in the city for a while now, and the leading candidates in the race, Shannon and Mulvaney Stanek, very differing opinions on that. Mulvaney Stanek has been firm in saying she does not believe arresting people is the right pathway to take, that jail is not treatment, and that it would only cause more harm than good. That's where Shannon differs, though. She says arresting people is a viable option, not necessarily incarceration, but she says that we need to disrupt this pattern and to create change in the city. It might mean following that pathway of doing so.
Trying to bring some accountability here. The police, the shortage of police, though, something that Democrats are eager to remind voters that it was the progressives on the city council a couple of years ago who led the charge to significantly cut the number of sworn officers in Burlington, and the department is still trying to recover from that.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like, a couple months ago when Shannon received the endorsement from the police union, that was a big leg up for her and a big endorsement to get. And you saw in the applause yesterday for, I would say, an overwhelming amount for Shannon, and especially how she's firm with her, actions moving forward.
Yeah, was there a crowd favorite? Was it Shannon?
I would say so, and I had a chance to speak with community members at Wednesday's debate, and then former city council members as well as current ones that were in attendance, and it's overwhelming for Shannon, I would say.
Well, we'll be watching. Still a few weeks left. NBC5's Tyler Boronsky, thank you very much. By the way, the entire debate is available to you at your leisure from the links you'll see at Town Meeting TV and the 7 Days website. And we'll be right back.